Hey y'all! Do you like witchcraft? Do you like collected thrift store hauls? Well, if that interests you, please keep on watching. Please be aware that this video will be very awkward and unedited and very rambly and stumbly, so if that bothers you, perhaps another channel may be the best for you, because I am that way. I'm not even going to remotely deny it, but I wanted to talk about 15 witchy thrift store finds. Maybe 16 if, I don't know if you could see it, but this little like color changing light back there, that's a thrift store find as well. But beyond things like that could be bonus 16. I want to talk about 15 recent-ish, somewhat, some of them aren't, but kind of recent thrift store finds that I found at my local Salvation Army. Yes, I know it's a Christian thrift store, but hey, regardless of the religious affiliation of a thrift store, you can still find some pretty cool things, especially for very cheap, that are new or very lightly used that you can cleanse. And I want to talk about things that I found from a thrift store that are very witchy. So one of the things would be jars. So this type of jar here is like a mason jar type thing. It's glass. I always like glass because, with the metal lids, because it doesn't leach plastic into whatever it is that you are containing. And this would be very good for herbs, but if you had smaller jars, which I have found the spell bottle jars before, though that's not in this video, but I have found those and bought a set of those there. If you can find those, very good, but also these work great for either very large jar spells or herb and resin, or loose incense, or whatever the heck you want storage. This makes very good for that. And the next thing that's good, speaking of things of that nature, like making incense and oils, this little plate, this mug warmer, I'm going to use to help me make my infused oils, or my ritual oils. I will be making ritual oils. Whether or not I sell them is an entirely different thing. I want to test them out for me first, but I do want to make some ritual oils, and this will be great for helping speed up that infusion in a, like, heat safe dish. I'm gonna put the oil concoction in there and just let it simmer and really just kind of meld better together quicker, rather than having to store it completely in a dark space the whole time, which I will. But also, in addition, I will do this to speed along the process, perhaps. Another witchy find that seems very mundane, I know this video seems very mundane so far, is a spice grinder, an electric spice grinder. And here's why this is great. So, say you're in the broom closet. I am to some people, but say you're really in the broom closet and you want to practice in a way that is inconspicuous. Instead of a mortar and pestle, you can use a coffee grinder or a spice grinder to grind up your herbs and resins. Now, obviously, if you have food safe and non-food safe ones, you're going to want to put the food safe ones in one type of grinder and a different designated grinder or mortar and pestle for your non-food safe ones, for less risk of cross-contamination, lowered risk. But this is really cool because if you want to grind things down to a fine powder but you don't want to look very witchy when you do so, you want to stay broom closeted, or you just want something that grinds it better, this is very good for that type of thing. Always be sure to adapt and really, what's the word? Improvise when it comes to your witchcraft practice or spiritual practice. So now getting into more witchy things, this is some tea, these are, I should say, not this is, these are some tea light holders. They're these suns. I usually keep them on my altar, but they're these silver suns, and they look really cool. They're probably stainless steel or iron, honestly, based on the weight, but these are these silver colored suns, and they are really great for bringing in that solar energy into your workings. And another thing, speaking of candle holders, this is a recent find, is this little tree man. I really like this tree guy. It has very, like, spiritual vibes. This tree candle holder has very much, like, I feel a spirit in this one, and I really liked it. So I thought I would buy it yesterday, and I did. Speaking of things that I bought yesterday that probably have a spirit, if dolls scare you, please click away. This Jester doll from Sugarloaf. It's like a vintage Sugarloaf Jester doll, and I am absolutely in love with this thing. Like, look how awesome and amazing it looks. Like, that is so cool looking. Like, you can't tell me this doesn't have a spirit in it. It's so cool. I love it. Even if it's just like its own personal attitude and not like an entity, like animistically, I think, like, well, I guess it would be an entity, but I think it definitely has a spirit. Now, more on to spiritual things. This is, well, how I did, you're counting, thank you, but, one and two, I guess. One book I got is The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. I have been interested in listening or reading their work, and I really just want to figure it out, learn more, adapt, and evolve in my spiritual practice and my magical practice. And I figured a book like this would be really great. It was only $1.50 because it was on good sale. Now this was 50 cents. It's a book on Reiki. It says The Healing Power of Reiki, How the Restorative Power of Reiki Can Help You Live a Balanced Life. And I think it's really interesting because this idea of hands-on, like, energetic healing is very, it's very, like, interesting to me. It's very intriguing. I feel like I want to learn about how I can implement it in my own life and perhaps eventually, once I get adept enough, perhaps help others in healing. I mean, obviously, I kind of am with my tarot readings, but like more distance Reiki type of thing or energy healing would be really interesting to look into for me beyond just divination, if that makes sense. And I think this book would be very wonderful for that. Now, another thing I was mentioning oils earlier. This is a little, I think it's a decanter is what people call it. It's a little glass one. I have things like this in here, and although this doesn't have the most airtight seal, I might get like a cork to glue onto, not glue, but like attach onto there or something. This seemed, or like some sort of thing to keep it in, like a stopper. This type of thing is going to be very useful for my oil infusions, my infused oils. Not essential oils, but my infused oils. Speaking of oils again, this is an olive oil jar that I got, and sorry for the ASMR there, but it has a cork top. I thought this was really cool, and I thought I'd get it because I'm like, hey, I need something to store my olive oil in, because that's, or other oils, but mostly olive oil in for my base oil in my infused oils. Now, another thing that's a thrift store staple are candles. So this heart candle I got from my partner and I got it for us so we can do a love prosperity working when he comes over. And this is going to be absolutely fantastic for that. A relationship prosperity. Not that things are going bad, it's just that I want things to keep going good. So hence the relationship prosperity. I want us to prosper. Another candle I got is this one. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for. Maybe if I don't want to risk setting my shelves on fire, I could use this as a general communication ritual thing, like a thing to generally communicate with my deities. So if I want to call upon just general divine energy, this is what I might use that for. Now, the last three will be really cool. I'm saving some of the best, in my opinion, for last, though that might be very subjective. So this one is this really cool, like, Greco-Roman columned arched mirror thing, and it has like the Roman or Greek, I think it's Roman columns, like a form of them, and I thought it was very interesting because I do work with some of the Hellenistic or Greek pantheon, and or worship them. I do worship some of them and work with them. So this, I felt, really resonated with me, and so I bought it for like less than $12. It was a good deal. And another thing I got that's very useful is a flower press or dryer. So this is used to dry and press flowers or preserve them, and I thought this would be very useful for when I forage, so I don't just have to rely on putting them in baskets and hope they air dry without molding. This will be very useful for that type of thing. And last but certainly not least, in my opinion, is this cool wicker picnic basket. Now, what is this good for? So if you have on-the-go spells, this type of thing is absolutely fabulous. This is fabulous for bringing your on-the-go work things. See what you can do. You can use, where are they? I don't know where I put them. I had some paper plates that went to those you can use as petition paper, and then you can put like your book of shadows in here, you can put your candles in here, your oils in here, You can fit a lot in this picnic basket, and you can just take it with you on the go. So if you want to do an outdoor working and you don't want to have to keep coming in and out of your place or wherever you're staying, you can just it's just a portable working altar, and that's what this is great for, just like a good portable thing for ritual tools and altars. So I hope this was interesting. I hope this wasn't too boring. Again, I do have a tarot business, and I'm going to look at my script for that one, because I do have a script for this part. Know that it is for entertainment purposes only, legal disclaimer. I cannot give realistic or like full-on official health or legal advice, because I am not qualified for that type of thing, but other types of things I am more qualified to give advice for, but those particular things I am not, because I'm not a legal expert and I am not a doctor. But I do use a variety of divination tools, including but not limited to bones, dice, pendulum board or spirit board, cards that I've made myself, oracle cards, tarot cards, runes, both witches and Elder Futhark, and things of that nature is what I use primarily to divine or divinate. And you can ask preliminarily up to 3 questions, and it'll be like a $25 reading, and I will do a video recording of answering your questions and getting some insight into the situation. And if you want to ask about like spiritual stuff or whatever the case may be, again, as long as it's not legal or official health things, I should be pretty good with that. But obviously, use your judgment. Don't just take everything verbatim. Like, use your judgment, use your discretion, obviously. But I will try to respond within a week of you ordering, if not 2 weeks, depending on how busy I am with my day job or other readings or life. And the link to my Etsy will be in my description. It is Hockey Arts and Tarot, and yeah, that's what it is. It'll be in my description and in my pinned comment. And with that all being said, I hope you enjoyed. This is Hawk, signing out. Thank you for coming along on this part of my journey.